and invite Father Maleko Tufunga to say a prayer to bless our Chancery and us all. Fiame, Father, Fiame Patil.
Ye mala wa tumulenga wharuaro. Malibingao tu mai fantasio to finalo ma o matu whamoe moe a o lea te iei tātou taulang si I lo tātou te pāua le langi. E sulai longa maka no fie malonga angalelei o ngā nei ngā ruenga wā. Mori mawinga nei asoro na mātanga o fie o mawhai o no tō wāwhi o mai. Be and I'll call upon you, please, to put together our hearts and minds as I lead us in prayer to our Almighty God. Let us pray. Yatato Tano. God of all creation, you lovingly guide the nations along times and seasons. Through high commissions and embassies, their representatives join people and cultures in friendship. They reach out to one another, seeking the way of peace together. Bless this high commission of the people of Samoa. May this living symbol of unity be a lasting sign of goodwill. Strengthen its purpose to celebrate the togetherness of two nations, whereby our separation is nothing more than the ocean between us. Let's waio le fōwhanga umalawa. Nai te tai mea umai le poto, ma le alofa. Wa e te tai ma pūlea mea umai le file mbu ma le amiotonu. Nai tai tai fo ia tunu uma I taimi mona vai tau. E si sila alofa mai I le nei maota wa mai a on tape na inga. E whai ei tonu. Ma wha tonu fo lau. Ma whiso tai ei lo mātou mālo Samoa I isi mālo manganu. I le ala o le nganga wha uo. E a wala mai kom sin sili ma ampasa. O whapena I o lātou sui whiwhilia o na whsota I tangata manganu I le awala le nofo whaalwhani ma le whaawawo. Ia vela ni mauta maana ngā ruenga whai. E whai ma awala la lau papa e whsota I o pai atua I is tangata mātunu. I le sa ilia whatasi o le awala le while mo. Ia vela te mai o mātou taitai, ma le ami o tonu o mātou tangata anu, e ona le nei maota. Ia pui ai le nofo file mo, ma le whai mea tonu. Ma ia mau ai, mai ai pea, le te mau ai ngā tu mau ma le file mo. Leli e whata mau ai ngā ina, ma leo leoa, ia I lātou lo whai ma mea whai ngā luenga lo mātou mā lo Samoa. E pui a le mamalu ma le ami o tonu o le nei maota. Pe a whata tau ma lo fina ngalo. Ma ia whai a lātou whai unga mori file mu ma le manuia o tangata uma. I e whapa ia le nei maota o le komisin sili mo tangata o Samoa. E whamalo sia le nganga ato le nei maota e whawhailele ma patipati ai le tasi anga o malo e lua Samoa ma New Zealand nei. E whamanuia I tai o malo uma le laulangi. Ai maise le tai o seo mātou malo tuto tasi o Samoa. Le fionga le palmia. Ia Fiame Naomi mta afa. Malona whiawhio a iai I ona tiute wha le malo. Whamanuia fōi le tapu inga a le aolo mātou malo Samoa. Le fionga I atui maleli I whano. Ma le toa sua le vi le lua. Fa pe fo I sui o le fono sui tofia, le fam sinsili, le kapineta, ma fai pule filifilia o lo matu malo Samoa. Pa manuia la latu tapu inga. Ma la latu whaafonganga ma le silsila mai, I le matu ngō fio le nei maota o matu patpatia mwhapa inga le so. Whamanuia mai le mamalu mawalunga o lo o hawhio ngei. Whamanuia foi lo mātou komisina o Samoa I New Zealand nei. E whionga I a Leasi, Papali'i Scanlan ma le whatua. E whai alawa le nei tatalo, ma le anganga mawalalo ma le mingao. E tatau wai, e latu I ake riso, o lo walo mlo mātou wali. Amen.
Thank you, Father Maleko. Taira o whionga pātele. Tau stemi o nā. O lea tu leo se te utusi a wale. Pensini o no sā. It is now my great honor to introduce the first ever Lady Prime Minister of Samoa, Honorable Fiame Naomi Mataafa. Honorable Fiame is no stranger to Wellington. She attended Marston Girls Collegiate in Karori, and after that, Victoria University of Wellington. On return to Samoa, and at the very young age of 21, Naomi, as she was known then, was bestowed the high title of Fiame, the title previously held by her father, Honorable Fiame Mataafa Mulunulelua, who was Samoa's first Prime Minister after we became independent in 1962. Fiame's mother was our first female head of mission when she became Samoa's High Commissioner to New Zealand in 1993. Honorable Fiame first entered politics in February 1985 at the age of 27. After winning the electoral seat previously held by her father and subsequently her mother. In 1991, she was the first female in Samoa's history to be appointed to cabinet. And over the years that followed, she held different cabinet portfolios in education, sports and culture, the Ministry of Women's Development, the Ministry of Justice, and more recently, the Ministry of Natural Resources and the Environment. Honorable Fiame was Deputy Prime Minister in the former government of the Human Rights Protection Party, and she became Prime Minister in May last year, after her new political party, Fatu Toile Tuotasi, or the FAST Party, won our national elections. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Prime Minister of Samoa, Honorable Fiame Naomi Mataafa.
Ai le faia se whamatalanga e aona e watu se whamalulunga ona ua tuai mai le matou au malanga tali ngā fōi le paia ma le mamadu ia atonu e mangalo fōi sa matou lape ia ona onisi fōi o fuafuanga ma le malo New Zealand. Before making my remarks, I would like to offer you my apologies for being late. You can lay the blame on the Pacific Caucus of Parliament. They may be members of the New Zealand Parliament, but they still definitely keep Pacific time. Lau whionga pātele māleko tufunga, tai o le sauninga. Sunga I whawhiangainga mai whatawhaitaulanga e fia I tutono le laumuane o Wellington. A whionga I minsta ma whaipule o le malo New Zealand. Sui o malo mai whafo I tutono New Zealand nei. Le paia la silasi o Samoa ua whio, malo whaalorongia, ali ina tamaitai. O upu masani ala tunu mo se wha moe moe ua I malamanuia. Ua tini pā o le uto e pei o le whaiva I vai. Ua tongi pātau I le ave, ma ua ele fo I le matangi. Ina ua solo I tua ao na I nganga e. Ua patita oto le whepo, ua e malo le ngongosina, sa tofu I le vasaloloto. A upu fo I le tusi, o le wha moe moe ua taunu. O le la au lea o le soifua. E mamori atu le whaastaitele I loutou wafi o mai, matala au mai. Ua maua lunga ma mata ngofia I le nei wha moe moe sa whauwao, whaupo. O tau pa ia sa ma whainga o le anunu watu whaatini o tau sala. Ai ono le uti o le taimi, o le awhanga tonu wai loa le malama ma bedi tonu le ifia maina. Awale aunga o le nei wha moe moe. O le whailonga ina o le nei ofisa fau, o se tasi le o pine wha mau. Mosi o tato watu no. Ai o se whailo foi I le soifua tawivi o tangata Samoa I tutonu o New Zealand. Sa amata whaatala noa le tato ngaluenga nei le tausanga I lua fesfululima. Ina ua moli mawina le tūlanga whaale tonu sa iai le tātou ofisa tuai. Ua sili atu le valusfulu tausanga lona matua. O mafui e te tele I kaikura I le tausanga lua fesfulu ono na whaale angai nisi o vaenga o le whaale tuai. Natalia e le malo, le Natalia e le malo. Le whautuanga le fionga I le li komisinisili a Leasi. Ua te tau ona whaanga ioi le whausi a ina o se tātou ofisa fau. O ata o le nei ngā ruenga na saunia le CCM Architects mai Wellington nei. Ona o le tūlanga o le tātou ofisa nei o lo o tū I tutonu o le sone. Ua whaapitoa mo whale nofo mo tangata lautele. O le sa umi ai se taimi o tau sa ili se pemita mai le Wellington City Council. E whausi ai le nei ofisa. Sa mana o mia malienga mai ai nga uma o lo tua oi ma le tātou whanua nei. Ina ia mautino ai e le a whaina o lātou whale I le taimi na amatai le whausanga o le ofisa. I le mawai o le pemita I le lua fesfuluiva sa walaulia ai loa tusi tarusanga mai company whauwhale. Mo le whausia ina o le tātou ngā luenga. O le compania Wilson Construction mai Wellington ne. Na manu malo I tau fonga ma sa amatai loa le whausia ina o le tātou ngā luenga. I le masina o iulai le tausanga luasfolu. Sa ia lava le fuafuanga e whaamai e ina le nei ngā luenga I amati o le tausanga nei peitai. Ona o afianga I le whaamai. O le mwhai ei on ausia Leasi. O le sauninga o le aso, o le whailonga ina leo le ngā luenga ua tau le lata ina whaamai a. Ma ua whaonga le malanga mai. I le nei asia singa. E whaatino ai le atulanga. Ma le whaamoe moe. O le a whaamai a le lei uma le ngā luenga. I isi masina e lua o lo tutoe. O le tūlai mai o le nei ngā luenga mātango fie. O se pine whaamau fo I lea e whailonga ai. E le ngata. I le onos fulu tausanga o le tātou malo tuto tasi. Ai o le onos fulu tausanga foi. O le tātou whengainga. Whaawō ma New Zealand. O le ata o le fale. O lo iai fōlinga. Ma whaalinga e atangi ai. Nisi o tū maanga a Samoa. O le awanoa le leile nei e toi mamoli atu ai le whawhataitele, a le tātou mālo, mo la o tau langolango mālosi, i ngā luenga whai a le tātou ofisa o le komisina sili, i le lau mua nei. Whawhatai foi mo lo o tau alolofa, whai pēr, mo a inga o lo tāpua i mai i Samoa. Ia whamanuia mai le atua i lo o tau au mau i le nei atunu. Reverend Father Maleko Api Tufunga, Reverend ministers from other religious denominations in Wellington, Mana Whenua, ministers of cabinet and members of parliament, your excellencies, the dean and members of the diplomatic corps, Mr. Guy Cleverly of CCM Architects representing the project team, guests, ladies and gentlemen, Taro Falava, Kia ora, tēnā koutou katoa. I thank you all for joining us this afternoon to unveil the plaque for our new Samoa High Commission Chancery, which, as you will see, is not yet completed. Coming to Wellington is a walk down memory lane for me, as you heard my introduction. As a past student of Samuel Marsden School and a brief period at Victoria University. It is also the post where my mother served her diplomatic career as Samoa's High Commissioner in 1993, as the first Samoan female diplomat then. I'd just like to note another thing about my mother. She was in the first group of scholarship students from Samoa to come to New Zealand. The preparation of our human resource to take on our plan for independent state. So New Zealand has a lot of significant happenings in my own life and in my family. The unveiling of the plaque today is a step closer to another milestone achievement for our country and all Samoans in New Zealand. It is coincident with my visit to New Zealand and no doubt will reach completion in the near future. The Samoa High Commission in Wellington is Samoa's first diplomatic mission and has been in operation now for more than 45 years. Over the years, the Samoa High Commission, with the support from the Consulate Office in Auckland, have provided a presence of Samoa in New Zealand with the noble intention to promote Samoa's interests in socio-economic development, trade, tourism, as well as political and security considerations. At inception, we had purchased the land property from the British High Commission. The original building aged over the years and was fast becoming high maintenance. The Kaikoura earthquakes and the persistent tremors over the years contributed to the fast deterioration of the building structure. The government at the time approved the recommendation from the High Commissioner Leasi for a feasibility study to be carried out to determine what the most feasible option would be. Once the option for a new building was confirmed, the bidding process was quickly facilitated. CCM Architects of Wellington were awarded the concept designs. The processes for acquiring a resource as well as building consent were long and arduous because of the fact that the Chancery would be built in a residential area and the consent of all neighbours was necessary before building consent was granted by the Wellington City Council. This was finally granted in October 2019. The building contract was awarded to Wilson Construction Limited and construction commenced in 2020. The pandemic impacted on delays to the construction schedule. From the program, you will see that our new Chancery has several distinct Samoan cultural features. In our perceptions, it is an iconic building in that the designs reflect our Samoan customs and traditions, as well as provide a platform to promote the identity of being Samoan, as well as we celebrate 60 years of independence this year, as well as 60 years of long-standing relationship with New Zealand under the Treaty of Friendship. Like our relationship with New Zealand, I am assured that the structure of the building is strong and is built to withstand earthquakes in excess of 10 on the Richter scale. In this connection, I would like to thank the project team of CCM architects, quantity surveyors, RLB, the engineers, Oricon, and the main contractors, Wilson Construction. Thank you also to our neighbours, I hope you're here, for the support and understanding and tolerance during the construction period. Finally, I would like to acknowledge with appreciation the perseverance and hard work of our High Commissioner, His Excellency Leasi Scanlan, and staff in the promotion and oversight of the construction of this project. Funding was made possible through the Unit Trust of Samoa. All you Samoans here, I hope you can invest in the Unit Trust, whose representatives are with us today. I thank UTOS for facilitating the financial support for this project. I thank you all for joining us again today for the plaque unveiling. Soifua me evanuia.
After telling our fiunga, Safa Pito, our fiunga to Matai Palmia, Molos and Matamofie. Thank you to the Prime Minister for her address. Next on the program, we have a speech by Mr. Kai Cleverly, Director of CCM Architects, who will speak on behalf of our project team. Kai.
Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou. Tēnā koe talofa Prime Minister of Fiame Naomi Matawha. Tēnā koe talofa Your Excellency Leasi, Papali'i, Tommy Scanlan, High Commissioner and Dean of the Diplomatic Corps. Tēnā koutou talofa distinguished guests. It is a privilege to speak to you on behalf of a large team of clients, tradespeople, designers and technicians who have worked together to bring this important facility to fruition over the last 8 years. I think it actually is a little bit longer than that when I look back now. What you see before you is the result of a process that began back in 2014 with the design, but tracks even further to the early 1930s when this site was the home of the British High Commission in New Zealand. In their wisdom, this site was chosen for its strategic location, tucked in the hills, close to Parliament and the hub of Wellington. The original development included 2 apartment blocks and the Samoa High Commission staff accommodation, which we can see today, front building and behind us. The old High Commission building, garage and large tennis court, also part of the original 1930s development, are now subsumed into the new High Commission building. Operating in the old High Commission building since the 1970s, when Samoa astutely acquired the property, it was clear, with changes in regulations and inevitable ageing, that the High Commission buildings were going to require a significant upgrade, and in particular the ageing retaining walls and a site infrastructure. After a range of options were canvassed, it was agreed to keep the High Commission on this site and provide a new modern facility in this strategically valuable location. The project wasn't quite a clean slate. The property is a confined backstreet site. It has just one single 3-metre wide access, and the existing High Commission still had to operate. Combined with this is that the building straddles an ancient river valley which runs through the site, and it has a steep elevation of 10 metres or 3 stories. There have been some significant design challenges to attend to. Many of these required intense technical resolution, such as providing vehicle access to the site and car parking for more than 10 vehicles. Whilst these technical matters at the time seemed to be all-consuming, some higher level objectives sat in the background of the design that should be more to the fore of what the building design was to achieve. A modern, efficient, professional working environment. A building that has been sustainably designed by the use of rainwater harvesting to supply the toilets and the garden irrigation, with potential for photovoltaic electrical supply that can be added to the roof. I might add that we even designed a full carbon sequestering timber structure. However, unfortunately, the earthquake loadings and the local ground conditions precluded us from pursuing that option. A building that benefits Samoans and that provides a strong representation of the culture, emphasising Samoa's sophistication in a world where identity and inclusion are key elements to a modern society. A confident, modern response that acknowledges its cultural setting. The building now stands before you, and its political and cultural significance is there for all to see. It is important to acknowledge that this achievement takes the effort of a large team. Much whaikorero, tautālatala, a lot of diplomacy and very careful use of many precious resources. To this, I want to pay some tributes. We all know that the life of a diplomat is glamorous and powerful, and we see this personified before us today with Leasi and Joyce. However, on this project we have met some very different kinds of diplomats. People with vision, determination, and empathy with their fellow workers. I want to pay special tribute to the tireless work and sleepless nights by Leasi and his staff. In particular, Belinda Filotafana'i, who even had a baby while we were deep in the throes of the project. She was unceasingly helpful and always available. We all know the testing times of COVID have created, though on this project it is hard to know that the world was in such a state considering the calm competence of the contractor. Thank you, George Russell, Grant Taylor and Tanu Mangasiva, who are exemplary constructors, and the consultant team of Sam Jones and Duncan Fleming for pragmatic engineering solutions, along with Sunithra Pantu and Grant Watkins for making the books balance. Building on a tight inner city site also takes great tolerance, and for that I want to thank the neighbours for their understanding and patience. There is one further acknowledgement I would like to make, and this should serve as a timely reminder why the New Zealand-Samoa friendship is so important, and why buildings like this should be seen in their context both in New Zealand and Samoa. It starts with a boy and his family when he was 5 years old, leaving Samoa. His parents had a scholarship to study in New Zealand. 25 years later, his parents are successful professionals, as he is too. This young Samoan has worked tirelessly with me on this project. University trained, Esakia Whainga, this has been an invaluable part of this project. A greatly respected member of the team with an eye for detail and a deep feeling for culture. Whilst I don't want to embarrass him, Ezekiel has, by his architectural training and understanding of Fa'a Samoa, worked hard to make the Samoa High Commission an icon of your culture here in the capital of New Zealand. This to me represents the importance of such a building and the power of architecture. To create a place where Samoans can come to deal with consular matters, celebrations, and other activities comfortable and affirmed in their nationality and culture, nurtured by the building itself. It is a building that we hope will enable Samoa and New Zealand to strengthen their friendship. I feel privileged to have worked on this project. I have learnt so much about Samoa. As much has been given to me as was given by me. It's only taken 60 years. All good things take time. I hope I get the tone of this right. I have been so impressed at the articulation shown by so many Samoans using English as their second language that I didn't want to crawl to Leasi for help. E vave tanuu le maranga pe atato alo va'a fa'atasi. Whaiwhatai tale lava. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.
Thank you very much, Kai. I would just like to add on to what Kai said in acknowledging and thanking Ezekiel. Ezekiel, if you are here, can you please stand up? Where is he? At the back there. A very humble young man. Translation of what Kai said in Samoan, Vavetau nu'u le malanga pe ata to walofatasi. We will reach our destination together in a speedily manner if we all row together. I would now like to invite the Honourable Prime Minister to unveil the plaque to mark the soft opening of our building. I'm calling it soft opening because, as has been indicated, there's still a little bit of work left, and it's because of COVID that a lot of our subcontractors became positive, tested positive. I'm not sure if that's an excuse or not, but a lot of them had to stay home, so some of the part of the project is not complete. And also the weather has been very unkind to us for the last 3 weeks, but that's typical Wellington weather. Now, if you're at Matai Palmia, I'm going to be lawyer, the Talang Tato, Manatu Lil Tato, Fale. Joyce?
Yeah. Do I stand on?
Yep. You will have a chance to come and have a look at the market, at the Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. Prime Minister has a very tight schedule. She has to catch a plane at 4 o'clock to go up to Napier to continue on with her state visit. What will happen now, if I could ask you to please remain in your seats while I take the Prime Minister and delegation up to the level 3. The building has 4 levels. The underground car park has 12 car parks. Then you have the first level or ground floor, half of which will be taken up by the High Commission for Consular Services, as well as our administration and accounting division. The other half of the ground floor is available for rent, for those of you who are looking for places to rent. Then this level here, which is the second level, is available for rent. But unfortunately, for those of you in the private sector, the priority is given to our diplomatic corps. So diplomatic missions who are looking for more modern places, a place to move into, highly technical, there's a lot of internet connections, and also we have car parks, and that's a must in Wellington. So, and in the top floor is where the High Commissioner and the Councillor and the support staff, as well as our functions room and our conference room, is located. Unfortunately, as I said, because of work still required to be done upstairs, this floor is not available for viewing. But we do promise that once we complete the whole building, we invite you back to come and view it. So, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated while I take the Prime Minister and delegation up to the foot level. The Prime Minister will come back and spend time with you, especially my diplomatic colleagues who want to meet the Prime Minister, as well as all our guests, before she departs to the airport to catch her flight. Whawhetai te re lava, thank you so much for being here.